Hi, I'm Gordon Johnston. Hi, I'm Gordon Johnston.
And I'm Adam Froese.
I'm Matthew Sarmento.
And I'm Mark Pearson, and here's some of our memories from 2016.
Well, firstly, I guess we started in India. That was right before when we played in World League 4. And so that was a really good tournament where we played some really good teams and gave us a good opportunity and good momentum going into the year. And starting with, I guess, the training tour in South Africa where we spent a month together, it was a good way to start it off.
Yeah, I think the energy was pretty high at that point. Everybody was still pretty excited about qualification and what the year ahead of us kind of represented. I know a lot of guys were pretty nervous about what was coming up, but yeah, it was a pretty exciting time for everyone.
Yeah, it was definitely very exciting, but also, you know, you could feel the tension in the room. 23 guys were in Cape Town, and we all knew that only 16 guys were going to Rio. So, you know, we're all good buds with the 22 other guys there, but you know, at the end of the day, you were still fighting for a spot, and no roster spot was safe. So it was good to play a lot of games and show the coaching staff that you deserve to be there, and ultimately, yeah, it was a great tour to bring the guys together.
And I mean, lastly for me, my year started off on a totally different note. Christmas Eve, I got the email from the Delhi Wave Riders inviting me to come play in India with them. So I think it was January 5th or 6th, I hopped on a flight a few days too early, perhaps, but to go down to India and to have that experience. So it was, you know, from a personal perspective, it was awesome, and certainly a unique opportunity to try and play at the highest level. So
yeah, it was pretty tough. I think, to be honest, after South Africa, some of the squad started to define itself, and we started to see, you know, certain guys were training more than others, and a lot of, you know, little injuries started to arise there after like a grueling, you know, 13 games or whatever it was in like 14 or 20 days or whatever it was. You weren't there, but it was pretty tough. And then we came back, and Ferry put us through the grind. I remember those first 4 weeks coming back. That little mini training camp there was pretty brutal on the body, but definitely something you couldn't afford to take yourself out of. Yeah, training at Rutledge, we're thankful that the West Van Field Hockey community can provide us with that pitch. You know, it's a good place for us to train, and we got to see some of the alumni around there, and a chance to thank Birdie and other guys like that.
Most of us had put our other commitments aside for that block there before Aslan Shah, and it meant that we had a really good training block where we saw a lot of intensity from the guys at training. We had a lot of passion on the field because guys were fighting for their spot, and I think that we saw that in the training environment. It was really good, intense training, and I think guys were happy to be relaxed and just thinking about hockey, and it allowed us to really improve our game, I guess, the most that it could right before the Olympics. So leading up to the Aslan Shah tournament, we had a really good training block, and using a tournament like Aslan Shah where you're playing against really good teams and playing in a good hockey nation as well, it's always a good opportunity to bring your best and I guess show the coaches that you deserve a spot.
I don't think we can underestimate the value in having Whole Foods Vancouver come on board during that block and provide us with bananas, cookies, granola bars.
Yeah.
I remember Guesty showing up with that green bag full of treats. It was there was nothing better than going back into the change room to shower after training and going digging to try and get the oatmeal cookie out first.
Aslan Shah has now become a regular thing for our team. I think we're pretty fortunate to be continuously asked to come back. It's obviously, I mean, I was born there, but at the same time, I don't really have any like strong connections. But
and he handles the heat worse than anyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm dehydrated.
Yeah, but no, I mean, for me, it's a great opportunity for my family to come over and come watch games, living still back home in Australia. But I think that, yeah, I think it's just an awesome place to play really good competition, and every year there's good teams that come and continuously trying to test ourselves, particularly as we came into an Olympic year, seeing teams that we were probably going to face later on in Rio was huge for us.
Yeah, I think we played some of the best hockey of the year in Aslan Shaw. I remember the first half against New Zealand was we were pinging the ball around. It was
exciting.
Yeah, it was great, and you know, I mean, it's hard to sit back and realize that, you know, that we probably didn't recreate that same level of play in Rio for, you know, any number of reasons. I'm not really sure why, but you know, from looking back on that, I think it was a good tournament for us, and as Adam says, we love going down there. Great infrastructure, great fans. It's top quality competition, and yeah, it was certainly good this year.
That was arguably the best I've seen us play, I think, in a long time. So
yeah, it was good.
It was exciting.
The intensity was pretty good before Aslan Shaw, and afterwards I guess it was up even more. I think that there's definitely a lot of tense moments around the fringe guys on the team, and the guys that are pushing for spots, and I think that has an effect on training, absolutely, and it makes the training a little bit more intense, and it makes everyone work just that much harder. And I guess going into Europe, where we're playing some of the teams that we might face at the Olympics, and some teams that are right around us, and teams that we want to beat, it really puts that extra pressure on us to perform, and just put our best foot forward going into the Olympics.
Yeah, I think collectively, I mean, we were still building off, I guess our group kind of starting to become smaller and smaller as we got to the 16, but yeah, I would say that, I mean, there's a level of, you know, everybody gelling together and getting closer to that 16 that you're going to play with day in and day out in Rio.
I think a large portion of it too was familiarity with the opposition. For better or for worse, we played 4 against Ireland and 3 against Spain, so you know, you know, better to know your enemies than your friends or whatever. I don't even know what that saying is, but yeah, it's not a saying. But you know, I mean, you suddenly become more comfortable playing. I mean, it didn't show it in Rio. We ultimately lost to the Irish, which was our key game. But you know, certainly in that tour, we definitely improved in every game against those guys. And I think, you know, looking back, you know, we can't say that we failed at the Olympics because we didn't know who Ireland was. We definitely knew who they were. We just didn't ultimately perform on the day. So.
Yeah, it was good, and I felt that you got to know the other team so well that, you know, in Rio you were able to, you know, do certain things, or you know, you with our analysis we knew that certain defenders like to do this, and there are certain attackers like to do that, and ultimately it didn't pay off, and which is unfortunate. But as the group stage progressed in Rio, we knew that Spain on the other pool were actually doing quite well. They beat Australia, and they, you know, could have finished first or second in their pool, and you know, with the success we had against them in the summer, we thought, you know, a possible crossover could occur and be beneficial to us. But like Marky said, unfortunately that didn't happen. But you know, those are the tours we need to go on, and I think all 3 tours that we went on before Rio, definitely no regrets in terms of, you know, picking which parts of the world to go to. And
the biggest thing for me looking back, look, ultimately we failed in our goal to reach a quarterfinal, but it was one hell of a ride, and I think that despite the competition between guys, it was so much fun.
It was probably the most fun.
It was so much fun, and the camaraderie was high. It was not like guys stabbing each other in the back. It was just everyone working hard for the same goal. And look, you don't always win every game, but and we know we're always fighting an uphill slog. But if I look back on my 6 months or 8 months, it was freaking awesome. It was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah, really good build up. Yeah, based out of West Van there too. We just had so much going on, going into the ocean for ice baths afterwards, and hanging out.
Such a great facility. Going to Park Royal after, getting coffees with the boys. Going on orienteering missions with Ferry.
Ferry sent us to Home Depot to take pictures of toilets.
I was London drugs to find a
CD
that he wanted.
In the end.
Yeah. What definitely came as a shock to pretty much everyone.
What was it supposed to be? Like a media event?
We had like a Twitter
Twitter off or something.
We were all getting that blue check mark. But we had this soldier come into our room at 4:30 in the morning, and that wasn't that fun.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
With a camera behind him as well.
Yeah. I was like, okay, what's going on?
We're in our underpants here, buddy. It's 4:30 in the morning.
Double booking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Spooning Benny and get out of here.
Well, after Dad tried to kick him.
But that was cool, and that was definitely very special to have our parents at the end of the day, or end of the morning, at Cyprus waiting for us. Pretty special. Take some photos with them by the rings there, and they've been the the driving force behind this dream. Whether it's financially or just mentally and.
HBC was with you.
Yeah, no, that's second. That's
yeah,
but yeah, the bank of mom and dad definitely came up pretty clutch the last couple of years. But no, just to have their support and not only from your parents, but siblings and cousins and stuff, and they all recognize what you're trying to achieve. And once they're there, seeing you on that stage, it all makes it worthwhile for them for sure. So.
Well, and the symbolism in front of those rings too is pretty cool. I mean,
some guys got a helicopter ride.
I stepped on the helicopter.
Yeah,
I told the guy.
I was going to say, I seem to remember you got
Yeah.
invited and then declined.
I got kicked off.
Yeah.
The caboose would sit on that.
Sulked my way back to the bus.
Yeah,
It was really good.
The bus was fun though, I have to say.
Oh,
The bus
yeah.
Bus crew definitely beat the helicopter crew.
Helicopter crew was great.
Yeah, but the magic of video, they made it look like everyone took the helicopter.
Well, for me, it was definitely the friends and family being able to come out and watch games. I mean, seeing them on the sideline is always awesome, and I know that it was the same for each guy. Like seeing 10 or 20 people out there that are supporting you and have always heard about you playing these games, but never actually seen you do it. So I mean, when they come out and see us play at home, it's extra special. And when we get to play the United States and a team that's a bit of a rival for us, but maybe a good opponent for us, and that we got to score lots of goals and win all 4 games. So it was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll just reiterate what he said. I mean, I had a group for one of those games in West Van. They were all drunk as skunks behind the goal, and then we had the shootout for fun after the game.
Roasting a turkey.
And they were loving it.
Yeah.
They don't see the sport. They hear about it. They see photos of me in far-flung places in the world playing the sport, but it's unique for us. I mean, I've been around the national team for 9 or 10 years now, and I've probably had maybe 10 games in Vancouver, maybe.
Big thanks to London Drugs.
And London Drugs, shirt sponsor. Yeah. Give it up
Title
to London
sponsor.
Drugs. Title sponsor.
Title sponsor, yeah. Even for the community in Surrey to come together, and West Van obviously to just to show the support and really back us before we went away was pretty special.
Well, it's pretty exciting to see friends that haven't seen it finally realize how cool it actually is.
And how cool it is. Yeah, I was gonna say how.
Go on.
Yeah. What are you doing? Well, just like that, it's actually a thing, and we're not just running around with skirts. Like we have to to our friends.
So. No, I agree.
One of the coolest parts was definitely walking into the stadium and seeing the event that we used to see as kids on TV. I remember watching it and feeling inspired back when I was 7, 8 years old, and then finally being there and being a part of it. It was kind of surreal. And walking in with a Canadian team and feeling like you're finally there representing Canada. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's a good feeling.
It's a dream come true for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, similar to Gordy, like you watch the TV every 4 years, seeing these inspirational athletes compete at the highest level, and it's something that, I mean, for all of us, it's what we've dreamed of. And I think the disappointment, I guess for me, of not qualifying for London and then being able to come back 4 years later and qualify for Rio and be a part of that was really special for me. I mean, Mark, you got to do it twice, but
well, I remember watching the opening ceremonies when Mark and Tups were there, and so that was
a long time ago.
very inspiring. But it was I remember that being a time when I realized that it might be possible, and then I guess over the last couple of years, and then that game against New Zealand when we realized that it actually might happen.
Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the most incredible day.
Yeah, just being around the village and I think everyone says, oh, you see all the cool athletes, but to actually be,
well, we're pretty cool.
Yeah, well, not really, but just to be equals on that equal plane with a lot of the the more famous athletes was really cool, a cool feeling, and know that you finally made it. All the work you've done and over the course of your life pretty much to get there, all the sacrifices and choices you've made to get there really paid off. And I think, like Gordy said, walking in like the Maracana Stadium for the opening ceremonies, just stepping back and looking, where you actually are, with like 80,000 people in the stadium, just yelling. Who knows what they were yelling, but
we didn't stay around for long though.
We didn't stay. We had a game the next day, but just to go in, take a couple pics, and just sort of grab that moment for a sec, and then head out to focus for that game one was, that was what we decided to do as a team, and that was the most important thing. But that was, something I'll definitely never forget, and and it's definitely motivation for 2020 if we can get there as well.
Yeah, the games are a big part of it too. I don't know, we haven't really talked about that, but I know singing the anthem at our first game was pretty cool, and I felt pretty privileged to get my 100th game against Argentina. I mean, what could I ask for? Argentina at the Olympics, playing my 100th game, it was an amazing experience, and a game that was close and well contested. So, I mean, all I could ask for more, I guess, would be the 3 points, but it was it was really cool.
It's really hard. People ask me all the time, how was the Olympics? And I really don't have a good pithy 2-sentence answer. There's so much emotion, so much energy, so much, really everything. My whole life has gone into getting back.
Validation.
And I mean, I've talked about this before. It's been a long old slog, and you were there when we didn't qualify for 2012, but I was there for the 3 years prior as well. And having that little bit of taste when I was young, and obviously thinking, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to get this every 4 years. And then to have that snatched away, and have funding been given to us, and then that snatched away, and then to sort of overcome everything like we did was a testament to the hard work and to the dedication and to the grit of this small group of field hockey playing Canadians that there's not many of us, but we do a lot. And
well, and when people see our sport at the highest level, especially the way it was presented in Rio with the spider cam and everything, guys on my B-League ice hockey team are watching. They're like, this is awesome. People just don't understand. It's changing that mentality. It's like you said when we had those games against the U.S. As soon as you see it at the top level, people are like, this sport is awesome, and it is. I love it. And we just need to find a way to expose more people to it, because people will love it.
We have a really good group of guys and a good group of young guys coming up that are going to push for spots starting within the next few months. And so that's really exciting. And I guess the Olympics in 2020 is it's going to be a long haul to get there, and there's some really tough competitions between now and then. But I mean, I'm really excited because I know that we have a group of guys that can grind it out and win a 16-round shootout if we need to get there. So, Sarms, what do you think?
I remember joining the program in 2013 after the team didn't qualify for London, and to be honest, when I first came in, guys weren't sure if the core back then would stick around for 2016, and if the team could legitimately qualify. And in 2015, once we qualified, there was the belief in the group, and I think that belief is going to hold true to 2020. It's definitely a strong possibility for this group. We have like Marky said, only a few guys that are retiring from the last games, and if we can keep this core going forward and have a youth injection coming through, then I think there's no reason why we can't be there again. And I think that sparks us and motivates us to keep going. And we got some big tournaments coming up, obviously well before 2020. We got World Cup that we're looking to qualify for starting next year in Bangladesh, and on from there. So I think it's 2016 was the best year of my life, and I think there's no reason why every year forward we can't replicate those feelings. And
I mean, to cap off 2016 for me, I mean, why did I say that? To cap off 2016 for me.
Hashtag 2016.
It's only with smiles, really. And as much as we say the results were disappointing, and they were, it's about being there with your family and experiencing that moment. And for me, it was the journey to get back there. And it's a journey for all of us, and junior journey with your teammates and the guys that weren't there as well, pushing us along the way, and the guys that were there. It was awesome.